I wanted to chat with you guys a bit while I take you through my deadlift routine. I start off with some Jefferson curls. I like to hold them in the Zercher position because it lets me stretch deeper without the bar touching the ground. Jefferson curls are kind of interesting because, as you would have noticed, my spine isn't in extension or even a neutral position. It's rounded over, and it's about as rounded over as I can manage to get it. The reason for this is because with these lighter weights and moving with a lot of control, it is safe and beneficial to train your back muscles and spine to go through their full range. Just keep in mind that it's still a bit risky, so you should honestly start with the smallest amount of weight possible, probably less than 5 kilos, and progress very slowly. I didn't get a clip of it, but before all of this, I do some bent knee calf raises. I don't know if they make a big difference to your leg training performance, but putting calves first in the session makes you focus on them a bit more, and my calves have gotten noticeably better in the last year and a half or so since I've been doing it, so I'd say it's a good idea. I actually do it on upper body days too. Some people say alternating grip doesn't cause muscle imbalances, but personally, I've definitely noticed uneven development in the traps and spinal erectors when I do it on one side for too long. Honestly, I'd like to just use straps all the time, but I always get so disappointed when I stop using them, and not only has my grip gotten worse, but the position of alternating grip doesn't feel right anymore. I tend to find that the best thing to do is only use straps when I absolutely can't hold the bar without them, which usually tends to mean I'll only be using them for a few weeks at the end of a training cycle before I simply can't lift the weight even with straps. And sometimes my grip just never gives out and I don't have to use them at all. From there, I'll add another plate and do another few reps with each alternating grip and keep focusing on getting every single part of the position to feel right. I want to make sure my feet feel like they're at the exact right width so that I can produce power, push my hips through, and not have my knees cave in. I want my whole back to be an extension and my torso as upright as possible, which forces my hips down and makes my legs feel really tight, like a pair of springs ready to launch my body and the weight upwards. I want my lats locked in tight and my arms completely straight, especially on the supinated hand so that I don't hurt my bicep. Even the exact spot the bar is sitting in my hands can make a big difference, and this can sometimes be the trickiest part because the weight on the bar can actually deform your calluses as you're holding it, and then it changes how the bar feels in your hands. I want to use these warm-up sets to get all of this locked in before it's too heavy to be thinking about it. Once I've added another plate, I'll throw on my belt so that I can get used to the feeling of having it on. I don't actually need the belt to lift this weight, or even my top set for this workout, but if you're not used to how the belt feels, it can throw you off and then you won't get anything out of it. So you should take a little bit of time to practice using it before you get to those weights where you actually need it. Also, I don't know if you guys get this issue, but often when I'm lifting with a belt, it feels like I need to burp, but I can't get it out, so I tend to just move around and do reps until that feeling goes away. It didn't this session though, so I just kind of had to put up with the feeling like there was a big air bubble in my throat as I was lifting, which kind of sucks. Finally, I'll get to my top weight for the day. At the moment, I only do one top set of 5 with 200 kilos, and I don't do any back off sets or anything like that. This is a whole lower body workout though, so after the deadlifts, I go on to do squats, front squats, and hip thrusts, all of which still train many of the same muscles as the deadlift, so generally I don't feel as though I need more than one hard set of hip hinge volume. I've tried doing more, but I tend to find that as long as I have 1 or 2 hard sets a week to maintain my technique, the volume I get from the other exercises is more than enough to develop my deadlifting muscles. The top set in this session felt pretty easy, aside from that air pressure issue. I think part of the problem is just that my waist size has changed after my most recent cutting phase, and I'm not used to it yet. So as I keep practicing the deadlift and using the belt, I think it'll subside. I know it doesn't sound like much, but especially on heavy singles, that air pressure issue has been a make or break factor for me many times. My grip has been a bit troublesome lately too. That's why after my top sets, I'll take some weight off, usually 1 or 2 plates, and I'll do a hold at the top of the deadlift to failure. I do 1 set double overhand and 1 set with each alternating grip. I also do pendlay rows with fat grips and a lot of chin-ups on my upper body days, and I haven't used straps in a while. I think all of that together is working fairly well because holding this 200 kilos for 5 felt easier than 180 kilos for 5 did just a few weeks ago. Anyway, that's the deadlift portion of my lower body workout. I know I talked about a lot of stuff, but in practice, it's actually pretty straightforward. The deadlift isn't that complicated of an exercise. If you have any questions, or if you have any tips for dealing with that air pressure issue, hit me up in the comments or shoot me a DM. I'd like to hear about it. Happy training, and good luck on your next deadlifts.